Okay, maybe trail number 2 would be a little bit better. We're gonna go down the lake trail and then head back and then head up the swamp trail, and then that'll be that. But while I'm here, thought I might show you a little something. Maybe you'll know this, maybe you won't. But I'm gonna maybe learn you something. So, a lot of you probably know what this is. This is just a pine cone, right? But do you know what this is? I'll give you a second, like a little Dora thing. Oh, that's right. This is actually a male pine cone, and this is what you think of when you hear pine cone is a female pine cone. Female pine cone, male pine cone. And that's a little something I might have just learned you. Who knows? I don't know. A lot of people don't know that. It's really just kind of, who really cares, you know? Nobody cares. It's kind of interesting, I guess. This isn't the lake, by the way, in case you were wondering. Well, I guess you already saw it. What am I saying? This will be part 2. I thought I might split it down, make it a little more, I don't know. So it's not just one really long video. Ooh, pardon me. I think that's that bird we saw in part 1. Go check out part 1. Shameless plug. This is really the only trail I ever go down. I go down the swamp one a lot. It's not really too, I mean, it's just lots of like sundews and stuff like that. A common yellow throat, or is it that one? Can't really tell. Great sign. Oh, hold on. Yellow warbler. I knew that. Just seeing if you knew that. Usually a lot of people don't come down here, so I imagine there won't be too many old people. As the day goes on, though, the old people get a little more nice. That's kind of funny how that happens. Most of them were kind of dickheads. A few of them were pretty nice. How long is this? Heads must be. I don't care about that. Yeah, so if same thing as last time. If I find anything, probably won't. I'll show you guys, but there probably won't be anything, so don't get your hopes up. There is look, it's a video. Bag of shit. Part 1 was called the Forest, and the part 2 is going to be the lake, and part 3 is going to be the swamp. But this looks a lot more foresty. I promise it gets more sloppy as it goes on. Now, if you're wondering why there's a bunch of sand on the trails, if you're not from Florida, this is just kind of how our ground is. It's a lot of sandy soil, especially like the closer to the water you get, just because everything, you know, Florida used to be underwater. There's a little fun fact for you in case you didn't know that either. I'm really struggling for things to say, so if I sound like an idiot, apologies. So, yeah, here's our pine forests, where Florida's really kind of, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna cut that part out. That sounds stupid. Oh, a bird got murdered. R.I.P. bird. Yeah, we're already starting to get a little swampier. There's a lot more sundews on this trail. There's a lot less pitcher plants, more sundews. Just because they can handle a lot more, like, you're not being submerged in the water, but can handle the water a lot better than the pitcher plants can. I really need to work on my speaking skills. That's what I'm trying to do now. So if this is lame, go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. It might be something, who knows. I'm just kind of trying to get used to talking in front of the camera and, you know, not sound like a stuttering idiot for the future. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much that. Okay, I keep seeing all these old people. Yeah, oh, she's still looking at me. Man, if you're old, no offense, but if you're old and you're thinking about coming to Florida, please don't. I know everybody gives us a bad rap and, like, sees the Florida man this and, oh, Florida's crazy, man. Y'all are weird, bro. I can guarantee you she was not from Florida. She's some snowbird from way up north. I kind of want to talk about these flowers for a second, but I think she's falling here. Oh, look. Part 2 of the video. Another poop bag. Okay, she's gone. Oh, she just walked off into the woods. Okay. These little flowers right here are native to Florida and the Gulf Coast. To be honest, I'd be lying to you if I said I knew the name. But I like them a lot. I actually have 2 of them in my house. As house plants, they get pretty big. So eventually I have to do something with them. They really like kind of sandy soil, kind of like, you know, what we're looking at, how there's dirt, but there's also lots of sand in here. That's what they like. They make these nice little purple flowers. I like them a lot. Not to sound like a, you know, like a sissy boy or anything like that, but I like flowers. I like a good house plant. This one's pretty big. The ones I got one that's like a little bit bigger than this little guy here. So maybe like 10 inches tall, and the other one I got is maybe like twice the size of that. So I like them a lot. I think they're nice. I don't actually know the name. Maybe I'll Google it real quick and not Google it because I know what I'm talking about. So I might put that in the video later. Probably not though, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't really feel like it, and I don't think anybody cares, and nobody's gonna watch this. This is just practice for future videos. Yeah, titty. Some more of them, a lot bigger. They got a lot more flowers on them. I'm sure this is all, not all one plant, but there's probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 in here. So they don't get super huge, but if you keep them in like a kind of like a little colony or whatever it's called when a group of plants is together. But I like them. I like them a lot. They get, the more sand there is, usually the more of them there is. They kind of, that's too much. See them all kind of down the foresty trail. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I'll catch back up if I see anything else. Probably won't, because this trail is, you know, I've actually never been down the lake part, so we'll see. I don't expect to see anything. Not a lot of people come down here. I figured since it was kind of like a warmer day that we've had in a while, it's not super hot. It's the wind's kind of keeping it a little cold. But I thought maybe like the snakes and some lizards and some the reptiles would be out. Is what my thought process was, because it's not that it's been cold here. It's just this is the first, I guess what you could call hot day in a while. I think it's probably like, when I checked earlier, I think it's like 75. So it's not hot, but you know, it's, the wind's kind of, it comes and goes. Like if you'll stand still for a minute, it gets hot, and then the breeze will blow, and it's nice and cool. So I figured something would be out, but we found 2 frogs, and I lost one. Becoming less and less about nature and more about old people. More of them walk by. First of all, this was the most jacked old dude I've ever seen in my life. This dude was old as hell, but he was jacked. And he was talking about, surprise, surprise, he's not from here, he's from up north. He was talking about the snow and shit or something like that. Not to say I was oogling this old man, but I was like, damn, how's he so swole? And then his little old wife was with him and their little dogs. But anyway, we're at the little Y where it makes the trail, and down that way is where it starts to get swampy. Once you go down there and makes the curve, it just gets it all swamp way back there. I almost fell over. And down here is the lake trail. I've never been. This is where we're gonna go. Oh, a birdhouse. I wonder if anybody's home. Knock, knock. Hello? Anybody in there? Nope. Nobody's home. Yeah, so I'll report back if I see any more jacked old people. Or just weird old people. Also, another kind of plant that I'm kind of like a sissy boy for liking is this like kind of gold grass stuff. Once you get like, oh, too far again. But anyway, once you get it like in a big field, it gets real tall, you know, like 6 foot-ish, and it just all goes together. It's really, this is like basically nothing compared to like the fields you can find of them. Or not really fields, we don't really have a whole lot of fields here in Florida, but any kind of clearings like this where the grass will take over. You see them a lot on like golf courses and stuff like that down here, but I like them a lot, man. It's like that nice golden grass. Kind of like a sissy for it. I like to watch it blow in the wind, I mean. And yeah, so no more old people. Probably no more sissy plants I'm gonna be a wuss about, but yeah, I'll see if I find anything else. Probably won't, so don't get your hopes up. But maybe there'll be more old people. I haven't been down here, but somebody is wearing like the exact same shoe as mine. I see, look at it. You can see the pattern, it's like the same size. Okay, maybe mine's a little bit bigger, but that's weird, dude. I don't think they're wearing Air Forces out here, so maybe it's just a coincidence. I'm probably the only guy dumb enough to be doing that. They are my old foam posits, by the way, in case you're wondering. They're not real Air Forces. They're not knockoffs, they're just the foam posit ones. So I don't think anybody else is wearing those. I think it's just a coincidence that the bottom of somebody's shoe looks exactly like mine. Probably some old person's. This is kind of bland out here. I like this kind of open. You don't get a whole lot of open stuff in Florida. I'm always kind of mesmerized if we ever go on like road trips or whatever. I'll be driving by like a field or something where it's just like acres and acres of just open land. I'm like, whoa, I've never seen that. Mountains too, and cliffs. There's my shoe again. So look, I swear this is mine. Look at this. There's mine. There's the new one. That one's a little harder to see, but I swear, man, it's like somebody's got the exact same shoe. Getting a little more sun dewy out here, a little more swampy. I don't want to get swamped up again. But anyway, yeah, mountains and stuff like that. It's just crazy to kind of like see them when you're from Florida. That's a pretty big one. Very nice. Another thing you might have noticed, probably not though, is that none of these pine trees are super, super old and really kind of thick. A lot of these ones in the open area are really kind of young and thin. And the reason that is a lot of times they'll come out here and they'll do control burns. And you can see this is kind of what's left of whatever that was. But a lot of these cleared areas are not because the trees can't grow in this kind of swampy area. It's just they'll come out here and they'll burn it. They'll controlled burn. And I know that might sound kind of crazy if anybody's in like California or somewhere like that, but when everything's so swampy like this, they can come out here and they can like start a little controlled fire and then burn down areas like this instead of like bringing machines in here and like clearing out the forest. They'll just do that, and then all the nutrients goes back into the ground, and then a couple months or weeks later it looks beautiful like this, except for those trees. I guess some of those made it, but yeah, there's a few cypress stumps. You might see this is a cypress stump. There's one there, but you don't see any cypress trees. I guess there's a few there, but those are all pretty young. Cypress trees are another tree that gets super, super thick when they're old. So I guess some of those didn't make it last time they had a fire out here. I hope you can hear me. It's getting pretty windy out here. This is like a little wind tunnel. I think this might be where this is the end of our journey before it gets a little too swampy. Again, no wildlife to be seen. That sucks. Besides birds, but birds are lame. And little bugs. Nobody wants to see those. I was looking for some big ticket items. So, yeah, this is where it stops. I'm sure there's all kind of little creatures that use this trail sometimes. A lot of people don't think that Florida has a whole lot of, like, mammals. When they think Florida, they think, like, alligators and snakes and turtles. But Florida has a lot of mammals. There's beavers, river otters, deer, fox, raccoons, possums. There's a whole lot of different kind of biodiversity people don't realize when it comes to Florida. People just think like one thing. They think like swamps, and that's about it. But Florida has a lot more to offer than just swamps. Well, the South in general, but really Florida just because it's the most swampy, I guess. I don't think Louisiana has its beat, but, whatever. You can argue about that if you want. Florida has a lot of, not this is like a Florida propaganda video, but I know I'm not making a good case here by saying Florida doesn't just have swamps and then I bring you to a bayou and show you nothing but swamp, but I guess besides like cliffs and stuff and deserts and fields, we got a lot of stuff here. And I think Florida in general, not Florida, like America in general has a lot more biodiversity than people think. And even like I forget what the word for it is, but the different kind of like biomes and landscapes and stuff like that. America really doesn't get enough credit for stuff like that. I think America has the most biodiversity, and when it comes to like habitats and landscapes of like anywhere in the world. So, USA. Oh, look at that, a little guy. Speak of the devil. Come here, little dude. No, come here. Nope. Oh shit, sorry. No animals were harmed in the making of this video. Damn, come here. I'm not left-handed, so that's why it's a little hard. This little dude here, I don't know what kind of beetle he is. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. Well, see you later. Just a not very interesting bug. But everything plays its part, you know. That's why I think a lot of people don't give nature enough credit. Everybody thinks like walking out in the woods is like boring and shit like that, but everything has like its own little role it plays. Everything has something to do. And you know, like I said, that was a boring little beetle, but you know, I don't know what he does. I'm sure he's a detrivore or something like that. He helps break down all the nutrients and give it back to the earth. And here looks like another bird has been murdered. R.I.P. bird. Or maybe they just shed their baby feathers. That's possible too, because they looked very, very fuzzy. Well, I guess I can show you that. Nah, you probably don't care. I'll just tell you. Baby birds, whenever they're like little hatchlings and stuff, their feathers won't be all like if you ever like held a feather or looked at a feather, they're really like kind of, it's like solid looking. But on like a baby bird feather, it's all like kind of fluffy, and none of the little fibers are together. So that's if you're ever wondering how old a bird might be, if it's like a little baby or it's got new feathers coming in, they'll be very fluffy instead of like kind of all together. And just like that, we're out of the lake area, which I totally lied about. Maybe I'll change this to the forest part. So maybe part 1 will be the lake, part 2 will be the forest, part 3 will be the swamp. I think that's what I'll do. Whoopsie. Call a little blooper. There's some more crawfish holes. Yeah, so not a whole lot of new stuff. Those are some new little saplings growing right there. I don't know the last time when they did a burn was. Like, it probably wasn't too long ago. I don't really see a whole lot of evidence to see if anything would have been burnt besides that log or two I found. These are all little saplings growing up there. You can see the bigger version of them back there. That's the same thing right here is what all that is back there. It's kind of hard to see how tall it is, but that's probably like 12, 13 feet high. You see it a little bit better here. It's a little taller. But yeah, this is the end of part 1, or part 2, I guess. Hope no old people catch me talking to myself in the woods. See, this is what I mean by a older pine tree. Now it's a lot thicker around the base, along the trunk. Excuse me, ants. It's not super big, but it's probably got a diameter of like, I don't know, 4 feet. So not the biggest pine tree, not the best example, but definitely bigger than. See, there's a big one back there, and you can it's easy to tell how much bigger that one is than the one right in front of it, how tiny it is compared to it. And that's the thing about pine trees that a lot of people, I keep saying a lot of people don't realize. I don't know shit, dude. So you probably know this, is that pine trees will grow really tall, really fast. And then once they start to get, 20, 30, 40 feet high, then they'll start to kind of branch out. Like, you see how this one right here is a lot thicker than this little guy. But, they're close, they're similar to height. So they'll shoot up really fast, and then they'll start to spread out the older they get. So yeah, that's the end of part 2. I'm gonna head towards the swamp and then finish up part 3, and then I'm gonna go home because I'm hungry and I'm a little sweaty and I kind of stink. And I'll just enjoy my day off. And if you care, if you even watch this part, I'm gonna set up my my new tank soon for the Scarlet Batis. If you ever seen that video, they're in a 3.3 gallon right now, and the new one I got is a 24 gallon. I plan on trying to escape it real purdy. I've really been kind of working on my aquascaping skills, I guess you could say. R.I.P. Bat House. That used to be a bat house before it fell down. If you ever want to know the difference between a bat house and a bird house, is that in bat house, I hope this doesn't have any. Damn, it scared the shit out of me. Is that a bat house will sit kind of like up like that. Oh, not like that. Anyway, instead of being like a flat kind of birdhouse, it'll sit. Dude, that scared the shit out of me. It made me lose my train of thought. Not to just walk off and completely forget what I was talking about, but a bat house would be kind of like vertical and not have like any holes. It'll be like underneath, so they can just kind of fly in and then hang there instead of like having like a place to sit down or something like you might with a bird. Anyway, Scarlet Batis tank. aquascaping is really kind of out of my realm. I do a lot of like, or at least I might consider myself good at it. If you watch my leopard gecko tank, it's not a real good example of what I mean, because I'm really kind of, it doesn't look too grand. And don't get me wrong, I'm no like Serpa design or anything like that, but I think I'm better than the average Joe, maybe. So yeah, I think I'm really gonna try and make this a pretty aquascape with a nice little thumbnail. What I'm gonna do is kind of have it be like a bamboo kind of forest, and then it opens up into like a kind of field. Is what is at least how it's gonna like a picture in my head. I'm trying to make it look a little bit better, but yeah, I guess we'll end part 2 here with these nice little sponge moss, or at least that's what we call it. I don't know the actual name. So a kind of fun thing about them is when they get dry, they won't actually be dead, but if there's no water around, they'll get kind of like stale. They'll feel like a stale kind of like I don't know, dude. Give me a break. They'll be kind of hard, and not like if you know that they're dead if you go to like kind of pinch it and it just like crumbles into dust. But this little guy's alive. They're alive and well. It's not too crispy, but when they get wet, they really soak up all the water and they get like really almost like mush. But they won't like come apart. They'll just be like, the difference is night and day between wet and dry, I guess. And this is the swamp trail we're gonna go down in part 3. And the rest of this all just kind of loops around. It's just more like kind of sandy, lot drier area. So, kind of boring. I didn't think anything would be back there. So we're gonna head towards the swamp now.